What is up, gamers? Rick Kakis here. Thank you so much for stopping by, and today we are going to be discussing the fact that Bungie has turned an old Destiny 2 glitch into a full-fledged event, and hopefully more similar events in the future. And so let's get started. But just before we do, if you're looking to upgrade your setup and get a new headset, I can't recommend ASTRO enough. They make the best gaming headsets out there. I've been using the A40s for years and years, and they've never steered me wrong. So check the link in the description. Clicking it will automatically apply a discount code to let you save money and help the channel out. Definition of a win-win right there. All right, now let's talk about a really interesting development. Like, this does not happen as often as you may think within gaming, that a glitch gets turned into a feature. So let's start at the beginning with the glitch. What exactly happened there? Because some people, especially new players, don't even know about how this all started. Well, in the last season of Worthy, there was actually a Nightfall that randomly started awarding double loot. That's right, as you can see, Warden of Nothing was pumping out a ton of loot. This was unintentional, and interestingly, this was actually in the time before Grandmasters. So for this season, Grandmasters had not yet been introduced, and therefore, some of the loot drops you're seeing in the background gameplay, although they look similar to what Grandmasters offer, this was all done in the 1080 light playlist at the time, or whatever that season's version of the 1080 playlist was. But in any event, it wasn't a Grandmaster. In fact, probably the Grandmasters coming later in the season contributed to this glitch happening, because this actually had a Grandmaster modifier where all three types of champions were present within this Nightfall, and they weren't supposed to be. So probably something happened there, and that contributed to double loot. But this caused the community to go wild. Like, the amount of people hopping on and grinding the Warden of Nothing Nightfall was insane. In fact, I believe for that weekend, there was more people in the Nightfall than there were in Trials of Osiris. And you may be thinking, well, obviously, who cares about Trials? But remember, this was during Season of the Worthy, when Trials was first introduced and the loot was super fresh. So that was actually insane that we had a Nightfall surpassing that kind of activity. And the feedback was pretty overwhelmingly positive, because one of the things that Bungie does, and I absolutely love that they do this, is the fact that when a glitch happens that's on them, when an in-game kind of exploit is found, they don't necessarily rush to fix it sometimes, but mainly they don't punish the players utilizing this. In fact, we actually had the opposite thing happen somewhat recently with The Division 2. Players found some huge, like, infinite damage exploits and some farming strategies for bosses, and Ubisoft actually went in and banned a ton of accounts that were doing this. It would be almost equivalent to Bungie banning the people who were farming this double loot Nightfall the week it was out. So definitely the fact that Bungie is kind of just sitting back and letting players enjoy this happenstance is a hugely beneficial thing. But again, the feedback for this event was super positive. I mean, ya boy made a video saying, hey, this has made Destiny 2 fun again. Everyone is enjoying this. Why isn't this done more often? And I certainly wasn't the only person saying that. But in my mind, Bungie saw my video and were like, this guy's right, so we're going to do it for everyone. And that's exactly what happened. Currently, this week, the Lake of Shadows Nightfall, not just the Grandmaster, although we do have access to the Grandmaster, which offers more lucrative rewards than ever, all of those difficulties are awarding double loot. So even if you can just do the match-made playlist, it's probably still worth getting in there and grinding, and we've seen a pretty similar response. the numbers are certainly up, especially within the Nightfall. Tons of players are grinding it. I've seen so many people post some of the god tier stat rolls that they've gotten with certain exotics, and I've got to be honest, I'm pretty jealous of y'all because I keep getting Aeon Swift over and over again. But aside from that, this has been a resounding positive thing. Like, everyone is looking at this event and thinking, hey, this is good, we like this, and it all started as a mistake. And so now we have to look to the future. Are there more things similar to this, similar to the Nightfall, that Bungie could employ this tactic for? Because we've had like triple infamy, and we've also had a triple valor, those boosting gambit rewards and then crucible rewards respectively. But the thing is, those rewards are pretty old at this point. We haven't really had a refresh to gambit or the crucible in, essentially years. So a lot of people have access to that loot. Now, new players may hop on those opportunities, but we don't see any big shift in numbers like we do for these double loot Nightfall events, where everyone, no matter if they play all the time or they've just started, is going to be going after those god roll exotics and especially upgrade materials and all of that stuff. So again, what other activities can this be applied to? Well, I think a lot of people have thrown out the idea, and I totally agree, of trials. Why don't you have one double loot weekend of trials per month? Trials of Osiris is not doing well. Like, there's no way around it. The numbers are terrible. Even compared to Trials of the Nine, Trials of Osiris right now is not doing well. And therefore, you need to get more people in this playlist. And a lot of people, to them, it's just not worth it. Grinding and grinding and grinding, especially if you're on PC against cheaters, if you're on console against DDoSers, just to get like that third win loot reward. Again, probably not worth it. But suddenly, if you say, hey, if you get to that third win, you're going to get 2 shotguns instead of 1, and every rank up from your tokens is going to give you 2 rewards instead of 1, I think you'd see a huge increase to the average player population within Trials. And again, that is a playlist, that is an activity that desperately needs this kind of treatment. It's not something that's already doing kind of well, it's something that really does need a boost to the player base. Another place this would be cool is in raids. Now, Bungie kind of did this when they had Moments of Triumph introduced, and therefore for the raids that are disappearing when Beyond Light launches, they offer the ability to get rewards multiple times in a week. Like, you're no longer locked at once per week per character. You can do those raids as many times as you want, and that's great, but you could still have events where, hey, raid exotics now drop at double the rate. So if you want to get the Teraba, if you want to get the 1000 Voices, if you want to get the Anarchy, get in there. That's a little bit more specific, but you certainly would see an increase the amount of people trying to do raids. Of course, raids aren't quite as accessible, so you have other areas of the game as well. I mean, double reckoning drops would certainly help people get those curated gnawing hunger rolls. For goodness sakes, double forge drops before all the black armory stuff disappears. So double the drops when you complete a forge to get those really rare random weapons I can drop with them, and then double drops from the schematics as well. All these type of things can really be done to improve the game and to satisfy players during downtimes. Like, there's always going to be downtimes, especially when you have delays like we currently have with Beyond Light being moved from September 22nd all the way to November 10th, you're gonna need weeks like this in between those dead times to keep players interested. And I think this approach of just offering, hey, double loot for 1 week, that is a great way to keep players invested in the game, and I hope we see more of this stuff moving forward. Guys, that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed. found this informative, and if you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus. That's linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.